Well, let's do this again. What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and you may be wondering, what do I mean? Well, I'm gonna have to rate the 6 companies again. That is WWE, Impact, the NWA, ROH, AEW, and MLW. Okay, and in giving the criteria that Mr. Wrestling for Fans gave me, okay, I am going to handle the NWA first, simply because we do know that the NWA is going to be doing weekly television shortly, here pretty soon. And I think when it does, I think it'll be a solid solid 3. MLW, I'm going to give a solid 4. Impact Wrestling, I'm gonna give it in 5 years. I'm gonna give it a solid 5. ROH, I'm gonna put ROH with the NWA. So that'd be 3. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. Well, let me just see if I got my count. Impact I've done. MLW I've done. the NWA have done. ROH have done. And you may be, and you may notice that number 2 and number 1 are blank. Okay. As a wrestling fan and not, well, I might as well break this down. AEW in 5 years well, I'm going to say that the business that they're doing now is groundbreaking. So, in 5 years, I could see them being the number 1 promotion. Because WWE, let's say Vince McMahon runs WWE for the next 5 years. I really hope he does not, because, well, ratings speak for themselves. The shows in general speak for the lack of booking, or Vince McMahon thinks he's a god. But here's the thing. Vince McMahon can buy out MLW. Vince McMahon can buy out the NWA. Vince McMahon could buy out Impact. Vince McMahon could buy out ROH. But, you see, Vince can't do to AEW and Cody what he did to WCW and Turner. Because, you see, Vince had the money. He had the money. He was more richer than Turner. And at the end of the day, money. At the end of the day, it was AOL and money that led to WCW's unfortunate buyout. You see, why can't Vince fork over the money for All Elite Wrestling? Simply because he may be rich, but the Khan family is richer. I think 6 times richer than the McMahon family. But now I'm on to the last promotion. the number 2 promotion that I see in 5 years if Vince, for the foreseeable future, if Vince has his grubby little hands on WWE, it's not going to end well. Because Vince is outdated. Cody is fresh. Vince may have a mind for this industry, Vince can talk all the smack that he wants, but at the end of the day, why I feel that WWE is going to be the second promotion in the United States, and why they are not going to keep their number 1 slot that they've had for over 50 years, is because of Vince McMahon. Vince can talk. Vince can show the money. But at the end of the day, what it comes to is the WWE has gotten so complacent, it's not even funny. And it's sad because the WWE has so much talent, and yet when Vince, let's take Asuka for example. Asuka was undefeated in NXT. Triple H built Asuka up as this unstoppable Japanese wrestler. Never even lost the NXT Women's title, and yet she relinquished the title and then once she got up to the main roster, what'd she do? She lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. And then it took her a year to get the SmackDown Women's Championship. And on top of that, she loses in a random match on SmackDown Live and loses her championship. And what is she doing now? Yes, Kairi Sane and Asuka are great together. They gel well, but there's only one itsy bitsy little problem. They buried Asuka. Vince, you know, and it amazes me that everyone wants to say that John Cena buries talent. No. If you really want to look at things, look at it like this. Who books NXT? Triple H. Who books the main roster? Vince McMahon. And this is why wrestling fans say that NXT is better than the main roster. I'll give you another example before I give Wrestling for Fans' question. Take Victor and Connor. The Ascension! They were dominant in NXT. Dominant mode through every single person. Every single tag team. They were unstoppable. No one could beat them. And when they get to the main roster, not only do they get punked out, but they win like one match, and then you have the NWO, you have the APA, you have Victor and Connor haven't done anything since, and in fact, if it wasn't for I'm passionate. If it wasn't for WWE's website, going to their roster page, you would not even know who the Ascension are. You wouldn't even know who you wouldn't even know that Connor and Victor were still employed with the company. I could go on and on. Gallows and Anderson, they were at the top of their game. They were multiple-time Japanese tag team champions, and they come to WWE, and Vince buries them. One more. And then I finally give an explanation on something. Shinsuke Nakamura. A champion in Japan, a champion in NXT. And he's done nothing. The only thing that Shinsuke has done is win the United States Championship. And after that, he did nothing, and then he lost the United States Championship. Why will WWE be the second promotion? Because in 5 years, if Vince McMahon is still running things, WWE won't have a leg to stand on. Now I answered your question, and sorry for the tirade, by the way. I'm probably going to hear that from you. But now for my question to you. Could you see Goldust leading a faction in AEW? I'm Hardcore Christopher. This video's gone on far too long, so all I'm going to say is keep it hardcore, everyone.